Happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody. It's Wednesday, March the 17th. I hope that sometime today, while you're holding a pint of green beer, you will take the time to watch this devotional and consider the teachings of Jesus. Seriously, I hope you're having a great day. You're halfway through the week, so congratulations on that. We're looking today at Luke chapter 23, and we're following kind of in the same story that we've been in, just from a different writer's perspective today. Just for a little background before I read the passage, we already saw that Caiaphas, Jesus had been taken before Caiaphas when he first was arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane. You should know that Caiaphas then handed him off to Pilate, and then Pilate, who's the Roman governor of Judea, he doesn't want to deal with Jesus, and he doesn't find any fault with him, so he hands him off to Herod, who is the Jewish ruler, and Herod, you know what, he doesn't want anything to do with him, so he hands him back to Pilate again. There's this hot potato thing going on. Caiaphas and the religious leaders, they sent Jesus to Pilate saying, he claims to be a king. And they were hoping Pilate would actually feel threatened by that, that he would take action. But Pilate's not really threatened by it. He didn't really, feel the need to do anything. And so he sends him back to Herod, who's the Jewish leader. Herod was actually all excited to meet Jesus. When we read the story, that's what we find out. He hoped that he would see Jesus perform a miracle. That was his big motivation. And when Jesus doesn't perform any miracle, in fact, Jesus remains silent, Herod kind of gets annoyed by the whole situation. He sends him back to Pilate. So it's in that context that we read these verses today. Luke 23, starting at verse 13. Pilate called together the chief priests, the rulers, and the people and said to them, "You brought me this man as one who was inciting the people to rebellion. I have examined him in your presence and have found no basis for your charges against him. Neither has Herod, for he sent him back to us, as you can see. He has done nothing to deserve death. Therefore, I will punish him and then release him." With one voice, they cried out, "Away with this man! Release Barabbas to us!" Barabbas had been thrown into prison for an insurrection in the city and for murder. Wanting to release Jesus, Pilate appealed to them again, but they kept shouting, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" For the third time, he spoke to them. "Why? What crime has this man committed? I have found in him no grounds for the death penalty. Therefore, I will have him punished and then release him." But with loud shouts, they insistently demanded that he be crucified, and their shouts prevailed. So Pilate decided to grant their demand. He released the man who had been thrown into prison for insurrection and murder, the one that they asked for, and surrendered Jesus to their will. So again, another famous story that we see here today from the New Testament, the story of Jesus and Barabbas, this story that just kind of shows this perfect one compared to this sinner that we can all relate to, and that one being preferred over Jesus. The crowds here represent the darkness of all of humankind, for sure. The religious leaders had incited the crowds. Remember, just a couple of days before, these guys were all praising Jesus and loving Jesus. He was the most wonderful one, but the religious leaders did their work and turned everybody against him. And now they are turning on Jesus. Guys, I want you to note today as we're doing this devotional, never be surprised at how quickly the masses can change their mind, okay? Never be surprised. I know sometimes we feel like, they're speaking with one voice and, they're so, solid in their commitment to a certain cause. Don't ever be surprised by how quickly the masses can change their mind. Here's a couple truths about the masses, guys, that you need to know. First, people in general that we're calling the masses, they don't really take the time to understand the facts. It's sad, but it's just the truth. Most people really don't take the time to study out the facts. They listen to the sound bites, they get the surface level story, and if that's what everybody's agreeing with, they just kind of run with it. The second thing you need to know about the masses is that everybody says that they're about the truth, but the actual truth is that most people just want to be on the side of what most people say is true. They don't want to have to stand up to people that are disagreeing with them. And so a lot of people, most people I think, just kind of side on the side of what's most popular at the time. It's the mob mentality. You see it sometimes in movies, right? It can be kind of comical when, people start looting stores or whatever, and, good-natured people are walking down the street and they see it and they're like, "Oh, I guess I should do that too." And they join in, they start looting stores. It's this mob mentality. We just follow along. And that's what we see here. People just chiming in with the loudest voice. Guys, I want to give you a little challenge today. before you add your voice to the loudest voice, I challenge you, really consider what they're saying. Really challenge, what is it that they're saying? Understand it, and really understand whether or not you believe it before you add your voice to theirs. Just this week, I was talking with someone who's in education, and they were telling me about what was being taught at their school and how they were really uncomfortable with it. And after hearing the story, I understood, I would be uncomfortable with that as well. So I challenge you guys, all of us, we need to be a voice, not just an echo, right? Be a voice. Know what you believe. Be a voice that represents Jesus. Pilate is the Roman governor of Judea, so he's in a high position, but we see he really doesn't have any strength of character. That can be true of a lot of our political leaders, unfortunately. He's overwhelmed by the voice of the crowd, and he caves into their cries. Guys, remember, surrender is about giving in to the right people. That's what we're seeing through this series, that surrender, it does involve serving the right person. It's about choosing the right master and giving in to the right person. And as Christians, we choose to make Jesus that person, our master. And, it's often going to be us siding with the less popular side when we side with Jesus, because darkness doesn't like light, and we just have to get used to that. In Matthew chapter 6, Jesus reminded us, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to the one and despise the other. So guys, I challenge you today, choose wisely and surrender to the right master.